the memorandum of agreement.
And Cliff can't vote.
That's right, you're gonna have to recuse yourself on this,
Right.
yeah.
I abstain.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the memorandum of agreement between the North Reading School Committee
We have a motion by Mel,
and the North Reading Education Association regarding the town's new healthcare plan.
okay, motion by Mel. He can't,
Oh,
Cliff
a second.
a second by Mike. Any further, Mr. Kachasky?
Close.
Any further discussion on the memorandum of agreement?
He's never getting a cigar.
Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? We have one abstention.
Yeah.
So the motion carries by a vote of 3 in favor, none opposed, 1 abstained. And I have to sign that, Kathy, right?
I have 2 copies for your signature.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, the school committee, the 2011-2012 school committee meeting schedule is under new business, and I know the superintendent's put some time into developing that schedule. Do you want to comment on it?
Yes, you actually saw the schedule without all of the special events to the right back in the spring. So you've reviewed the dates, but I also wanted you to see that what you now have included on your schedule are all of the meetings that are held at the individual schools. You had indicated to me last year that that was something that you wanted to do again, and you've been doing for several years now. So all of those meetings have been detailed, and also the school improvement plan presentations, that was on the original calendar that I had given you last year. They're on here, as well as the 2 town meetings, October 3rd and June 4th.
Okay, it occurred to me when I took a look at this, and I should have brought it up before, but I'll ask for input from the committee. I was thinking in terms of trying to have the meetings at the various schools prior to January 1st, so that we could take the opportunity to do a presentation or a brief presentation on the building project at each one of the schools, and see what kind of an audience we could get at each one of the schools, have some visual things for them to look at there, and do a brief presentation. It would mean it doesn't mean changing anything other than the location of the meeting. We already have the bat shelter October 24th, which is actually perfect. But I'm thinking in terms of the high school and the Little and the Hood, and moving them up into that first half of the calendar. What do you think?
Would you want the schools to do their presentation to the committee at that time as well?
Oh, yeah, I'd say, yeah, but we would just add in a fairly brief presentation on the school bill, and we would advertise it as such or promote it as such, so that the parents that are attending, because we do get a pretty good turnout at those meetings, would have an opportunity to look at some drawings, some designs, and ask questions of the committee.
And that's an audience that has a stake in the.
It does, all 3
Yeah.
certainly all 3 elementary schools would.
The
Is that-
the only thing I'd like to put out there is that the principals, except for the bat shelter, like to do it in the spring because there were lots of projects that have been completed. The students like to perform. So would you entertain having 2?
I would certainly entertain having 2. I mean,
The problem with that is, though, we lose the benefit
exactly,
of being on cable.
and that's what I
I
was just gonna, the
see.
benefit of being on cable and the benefit of drawing.
That's
You know,
right.
if they could maybe put something together less, complicated than they normally would do in the
I'll bring
spring,
it back to them.
all right?
Do you have specific dates, looking
Well,
at this schedule,
I'm
that
just
you
looking
think
at
would be
that schedule.
appropriate?
I'm trying to think of, Maybe- yeah,
Yeah, there
exactly.
really isn't any
Well,
choice.
no, you've got November 7th or 21st for either the Little or the Hood, and maybe December 5th or 19th for the other one, for the other elementary school. And that would get all 3 of them prior to January 1st.
But again, that would mean we'd be basically 4 or 5 meetings wouldn't be on cable, live.
Is there a way for us to do that? Well, there'd be 3 of them at least, obviously.
Like the Batch, the Hood, the Little
Yeah.
wouldn't be live, and the high school I don't think is live either, is it? We do it at the high school?
Well, that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen anyway.
Right, but
I
at
mean,
least
over the
they're
course of
spread
the year.
out.
I know. But I just, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I just thought to take advantage of the audience, and like Cliff says, that's an audience that has a real vested interest. And we usually get a pretty good group of people that, not only are they good in, as far as numbers, but people that come in and they're
Right
active.
here.
they're active and they'll go back out into the community.
And we would do this as opposed to separate forums around just the building project.
I don't think we have to exclude anything else. I'm just thinking if we were gonna have meetings at the schools anyway, that maybe we'd take advantage of
I'm
those
just trying to,
meetings.
I think that it's a good idea. I'm just trying to weigh, if we're not on, not that we're the highest rated show, but if we're not on cable for 4 or 5 straight weeks, then
What,
Live.
why can't we do a pre-recorded show? Why does it have to be a live feed?
no, I'm saying that now, tonight, we're live. We're live when we,
No, I'm saying, why
Here.
can't we just be a pre-recorded when we visit those schools? Just record it and play it
Well,
back
what if we
at a
spread it
later
out,
date.
Mel?
they, no, they do, but I'm saying people are accustomed to tuning in at,
Yeah.
you know, they set their alarm
Yeah.
clocks for 7 o'clock on
Take a
Monday
hit in
night.
Nielsen ratings.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a close call between us and the new 2.5 Men.
well,
that'll
Monday
be on
Night Football,
too.
when Monday Night
Monday
Football
Night
comes
Football.
on, we battle against Monday Night
Yeah.
Football for the top grade.
I was thinking in terms of if we went the October 24th, November 21st, and December 19th, those are three, it's alternating meetings.
Right.
And if there was a way to,
Can we have a live and a recorded, or live and a recorded,
Yeah.
or live and a recorded?
but I think if we're gonna do it, Kathy, we need to get the word out to the principals, and there's not, a lot of time, but get the word out that we would like as big an audience as possible, and make sure that they convey to their parents that there's gonna be a presentation on the building project.
So that's only 4 schools if we leave the high school where it is on January 9th?
I think we could do that.
And so which school would we not,
Well, the ones I'm including, we've already got the batch scheduled. Those other two
Right.
dates would be for the Hood and the Little.
the 24th is the batch, and then the 21st and the 19th, and then then we're going to do 3 in a row. We said the 21st, the 19th,
Right.
or
And
the
the
7th or the 5th. So
Yeah.
that's only 2 other dates, and we have the middle school. The
Right.
middle school is, not till May.
Well, obviously, we're at the middle school on November 7th and December 5th. And we could do a presentation at one of those meetings as well.
I guess, so we have a new principal.
I get it.
Would you like to give the new principal a little longer? I wouldn't.
Well,
put-
that's what they're all going to say. They're all
But,
going
no,
to
but
say.
I'm,
they
I'm
really
saying,
want-
I'm saying for the middle school, we could do just an agenda item.
Right.
For a presentation for the building project.
Right.
And again, have drawings, we'll be on TV and try to do as much as we can to promote it.
So the purpose of having it in the schools is to be able to do 2 things. Have the schools present to the school committee, as well as do a more detailed presentation of the building project
In front of an audience.
in front of an
That
audience.
we think is an audience that's going to get out there and
Okay,
communicate the project.
Maybe all we need is like a 10-minute
Presentation.
presentation. We don't need to put on a 2-hour presentation. It's 10 minutes is,
okay.
Good. No.
By October 24th, how confident are we that we're gonna have enough to present to the people?
I talked to Brad Dorr today. He told me that by October 1st, before town meeting, we should have something far more substantive than we have now to be able to put out there.
Okay.
Yeah,
something with form.
yep. And Kathy, tell them, I wouldn't have the principals fret over it, even if we just use their venue. I mean, I just wanna make sure that, as Mel suggests, that there's a reason to get people out. A lot of times, the parents will come out to watch their children obviously perform in that
Sure.
in that venue. But I'd like to get an audience
See, that's
there.
why they come. I think if we
Yeah.
just go to the school and say we're presenting on the middle and high school, they're not gonna be there.
I agree. So I think we need something to bring some people in. I mean, we've had some pretty good audiences at the various elementary schools.
Okay, I'll work on
All right,
this.
and listen, see what you can do at the next meeting. If it's not doable, then we'll reconsider it. But it's
mean-
just something that occurred to me, it's an opportunity to
Sure.
get out there and,
Sure.
okay. Otherwise, do we have any issues with the calendar?
It's good.
I think the whole thing needs to be changed. You might wanna put a placeholder in for a
I mean, really, all I'm asking to
February
do
town
is,
meeting,
the only thing I'm asking to do is
special
put,
town meeting.
convert 2 meetings that are already scheduled to the 2 elementary schools, all right?
Right. It's their production, if you will,
All right.
that
Right,
they'll
they
have
just
some
won't have as
concern
much
with.
going on by now at this part of the time of
Right.
the year.
They
We'll just
really
do a
like to-
dress rehearsal,
Okay,
as long as we can get some people there.
sounds good.
Not every child that's in those schools is brand new to those schools. So they're somewhat prepared at any given instant to show us their wares.
Right, I don't think it's the students that we're worried
Yeah.
about. I think they'll do just fine.
Okay, any further discussion on the meeting schedule? Okay, the next subject I think I'm gonna turn over to, I know I'm gonna turn over to the superintendent,
Yes.
and that's the accountability status under the
Yes.
NCLB, and this has to do again with the yearly progress regarding test scores, so Kathy?
The only reason why I'm bringing this forward to you tonight is because we need to let parents know that the middle school is now, has a different accountability status. The North Reading Middle School is now, because it receives Title I school funds, we need to let parents know 14 days prior to the start of school or thereabouts, that the school is in a corrective action in the area of mathematics only for subgroups. This information is embargoed for all schools unless there is a status of improvement or corrective action. So I can't sit here tonight and talk to you about the status of any of our other schools because that information is embargoed till mid-September. But because of this status of either improvement or corrective action, we need to let parents know. And if we need to let parents know, we need to make sure that our school committee knows. So attached, you can see in your packet, there's a letter from Catherine O'Connell to parents. I'd like to start by saying that the middle school did make AYP for English Language Arts. Last year, it was an improvement status, and so for subgroups. And we saw great growth in our subgroups in English Language Arts. Now, we have to make AYP 2 years in a row in order for a status to be removed. Remember, no status is considered to be good. But in order to get to no status, you have to make AYP for 2 years in a row. So we will still carry the improvement year one label for ELA, even though we made AYP. We have to make it 2 years in a row.
When do we find out, when's the second year, next year at this time, or?
Next year at this time.
Okay.
That's correct. But for mathematics,
Right.
for our subgroup, and the subgroup is special education, we did not meet our improvement target that was identified for us by the Department of Ed. So because it's been 4 years that we have not met that improvement target, we're now in what's called corrective action. So I needed you to know that there are a whole host of actions that we will be taking in this district to address this particular status. There's lots of advisability from the Department of Education. I've already downloaded all of this information. I've been reviewing it. I'll be meeting with the principal. We'll be working with the teachers. We actually need to revise our school improvement plan to reflect some of the corrective actions that we will be taking. So we'll bring that forward to you. But this is an opportunity to do a self-assessment about our strengths and our areas of need, particularly in this area. We've already contracted with a consultant who started working with our teachers last spring, and she is going to continue working with our teachers as soon as this Thursday. They'll be talking about doing some deep analysis of data, not just MCAS data, but all data that we collect in order to improve this area. So I will have more to report to you once we can talk more about the results, and we have preliminary MCAS data that's embargoed till mid-September. We have preliminary accountability status data that's embargoed till mid-September. But internally, we're already working on this. We just can't share the information until the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education lifts the embargo.
Okay, questions, comments?
Just irritation. This is why NCLB is so ridiculous. The law is in plain English, stupid. It needs to be changed, and it just infuriates me. It just infuriates me.
I can tell you that this is typical of high-performing districts. When you start out as a high-performing district, you don't have much room
For improvement.
to go to improve. Now, do we need to close the achievement gap between certain subgroups and the aggregate? Yes, we do. But be that as it may, our students already started out at a very high level. So if you don't continue to meet these improvement targets, you're considered to be in need of improvement, even though your students are performing in the top
So what we're looking at is
echelon.
it's doable.